Hello dear students, in my last video we have learned about the Kirchhoff law, how Kirchhoff law has been applied to various electrical circuits, and in this video we will learn about the principle of Wheatstone bridge, how Wheatstone bridge works on the principle. So this is the circuit diagram of Wheatstone bridge. We have four resistance P, Q, R, S which are in parallel, connected parallel, and here we have a battery which is connected to this side at point A and at point C. Now a current I is flown from positive potential to negative potential in this circuit. So here current I is flown from here in this side and it will go to point A. After reaching to point A, it will divide it into two parts. I1 is go in this side and I minus I1 current is go along this side along AD, and I1 is going along AB. So again at point B it will be divided into two parts. One part Ig current is flowing through the galvanometer which is connected here. So here we have mentioned Ig, and I1 minus Ig is current will flowing along the arm BC. So now at C point we have again I1 minus Ig, this current which is coming from this side, and here we have I minus I1 plus Ig coming from this side and I minus I1 is coming from this side, and total current at point is I minus I1 plus Ig, this current. So total current is I minus I1 plus Ig, which is moving along this side along DC. So now at point C we have I1 minus Ig plus I minus I1 plus Ig. So it will be I1 and Ig will be cancelled out with this here, and current I will flow along this side, and here we again get current I at the negative potential of this battery. So we have started here with the current I and ended here with the current I from this circuit. Now what is the principle of this circuit? These signs are basically we have taken with on the basis of Kirchhoff law, which we have discussed in last video, Kirchhoff law. So by using the Kirchhoff law, the sign convention of this circuit can be applied by assuming a loop. First I am taking here loop A B D A. So loop in loop A B D A, this one loop is here, and we are applying Kirchhoff law. Kirchhoff law is applying on this loop, and according to Kirchhoff law we are moving along this side, and here we have I1 and resistance is P. So the potential drop is I1 into P, which is negative sign. Again along clockwise direction we have taken here negative sign, and Ig into G here along this point we have Ig into G. Again it is in clockwise direction, so we have taken here negative, and here current is in opposite direction and we are moving along clockwise direction. So the value across this resistance is I minus I1 into R, and again opposite sign is here, plus sign is here, because we are moving along this side according to the sign convention of Kirchhoff law. And the total sum of potential along this loop A B D A with these three resistance will be minus I1 P minus Ig into G plus I minus I1 into R is equal to 0. So similarly now we can apply the Kirchhoff law on this loop B C D B. So we are considering here the next loop, that is BCDB. In BCDB we are moving along this side in clockwise direction, and here the first resistance is Q, and the current along this resistance is I1 minus Ig. So the voltage drop across this resistance is I1 minus Ig into Q. Then we come to this point. At this point the current is flowing in opposite direction and we are moving in clockwise direction, so we have taken here sign plus according to the sign convention of Kirchhoff's law. So here the potential drop is I minus I1 plus Ig into resistance S. So the value is I minus I1 plus Ig into S, and then we come to this point. Again the current is flowing in opposite direction, so we have taken here sign positive, and the current along the galvanometer or along resistance G, we have Ig into G is equal to 0. Now the bridge is said to be balanced when the current across this G, or we can say across the galvanometer, is 0. That means no potential drop is here across the galvanometer, so no current will be flow here. So the galvanometer, the current Ig will be taken here 0, and we get here dividing both these, we put the value of Ig is equal to 0 into these two equations. We have here minus I1 into P, then this part will go to 0, and then this is I minus I1 into R. Again here we have minus I1 into Q minus I1 into S is equal to 0. So now after putting the value of Ig is equal to 0, uh, from in these two equation we get minus I1P, we get here minus I1P minus plus I minus I1 into R is equal to 0. Again here minus I1Q plus I minus I1 into S is equal to 0, and then we divide these two equations, we get P by Q is equal to R by S. P by Q is equal to R by S. So this will give you the principle of the Wheatstone bridge. If we have any four resistance and one resistance will be unknown, that means we can, with the help of Wheatstone bridge, we can find out that unknown resistance with the help of Wheatstone principle, bridge principle. Now we come to the meter bridge. Meter bridge is based on the Wheatstone principle. Basically this principle is applying to this meter bridge. Meter bridge is a bridge where we have this wire A to B, and the length of this wire is 1 meter. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. So the length of this wire is 100 centimeter, or we can say 1 meter. That is why That is the reason we called it is meter bridge. So in meter bridge we have 1 meter wire, and then this battery is connected to the point A and B with key K. We have one resistance box here RB at one point where resistance R is here, and this is any unknown resistance X which is connected at this point, and this is jockey where galvanometer has been connected. Now we can move this jockey from point A to point B anywhere to find the value of the deflection of current through this galvanometer, and we set this galvanometer to at that point when there is no deflection. When there is no deflection, we can say the current across this galvanometer has 0, or we can say Ig is equal to 0, and we can say the bridge is balanced. This is the condition for balancing the bridge, that is we move the jockey along AB where we get no deflection. That means at that point we can say the bridge is balanced, and at when the current is 0, when we move this jockey along this wire, the current is 0. At that point we take the length of this AJ. AJ is L centimeter, and then total length of the wire is 100, and the other length which will left is 100 minus L centimeter. So when galvanometer current is made 0 by adjusting the jockey position on the meter bridge wire for the given value of known and unknown resistance, we can say here we are applying here the principal Wheatstone principle, that is P upon Q is equal to R upon S. Here P is R and Q is X, any unknown resistance, and RAJ means the resistance along this point, along this length AJ, because resistance is directly proportional to length by a formula R is equal to rho L upon A. So we have this RAJ is equal to here length AJ, because resistance is proportional to this length of the wire, and we have the value AJ here, and the next along RJB we have the value JB here. And if the length AJ is equal to L, and the length JB is equal to 100 minus L, so we can get here any resistance which is unknown X is equal to R into 100 minus L divided by L. This is the method. With the help of meter bridge we can find out any unknown resistance which is taken here at this point. So we can find out any unknown resistance with the help of meter bridge. Now we come to the potentiometer. Potentiometer is again based on the meter bridge, and here we have, in case of potentiometer, we have 4 wires which are connected into series, and the length of each wire is 100 centimeter. So from this to this point is 100 centimeter, then next 100 to 200 is there, then 200 to 300 is there, and 300 to 400 is there. So this is the difference between meter bridge and potentiometer. And here we have taken 4 wire which are connected in series, and each of length have 100 centimeter. So total length of this wire is 400 centimeter. This we are taken in the potentiometer, and next we take the circuit. This circuit is called auxiliary circuit. Auxiliary circuit, where one battery is connected to the ammeter and rheostat is here for variable resistance, and one key is there which is connected to the point B. Key is connected to the point B, and here from battery is connected to the point A, and this circuit is called, only this circuit is called auxiliary circuit. Now from point A we set here jockey to measure the potential difference between 2 points, and this jockey is again moving. Suppose this length is L and current I is flowing from here to here, here to here, and here, and after that it goes to here, and by changing the resistance RH we can get here a value of here we can get the completing the circuit. And now this potential drop, the principle of potentiometer is based on the potential, how we can measure with the potential difference. Now this potential difference is we can measure here. V is equal to IR, and R we have here, R is equal to rho L upon A. So that means the potential difference is again proportional to the length here, length, and that L depends upon the movement of this A to J distance or J to B distance again here. So if constant current flows through the potentiometer wire of uniform area A and uniform cross section rho, then we can find out V is equal to K into L. That means if I put all these I rho upon A is equal to K, and only L is left there, so that means we have V is proportional to L, and V divided by L is called potential gradient. So here we are measuring potential gradient. That means potential V is changes with the length of wire which we are going to measure here. So the potential difference across any length of wire of uniform cross section and uniform composition is directly proportional to the length when a constant current flow through it. So that means with the length, if we are changing the length of this length L, the value of Ag, that means potential drop is always directly proportional to the value of Aj. So if we are moving this distance, we are moving the jockey, that means this distance Aj will be varies. That means the value of L varies. That means L is directly proportional to the V. That means the potential drop across these points we can measure here. The potential across the point Aj we can measure. So this is the method, or this is the principle which is based on the potentiometer, and we can measure the potential drops with the help of potentiometers. Next we come to the next point, where potentiometer is used to compare the EMF of the cell. How EMF of the cell can be compared? Now we have two cells, E1 and E2. Again, that's this is the auxiliary circuit, and again there are 4 wires, and here is we have jockey. Only the difference is here. Here we have connected two cell E1 and E2, and here is a resistance box. In our first step, when we have to measure the E1, or we have to measure the potential across AJ1, that means this point to J1. When we uh, put this resistance box along this, here we connect this circuit along A1, and this cell is not connected first only E1 is connected, and we connect this circuit from these points, and cell E1 is connected. Now E2 is not connected, E1 is connected. So according to the E1, we have the potential drop is J1. So that means we have potential drop across AJ1, that is VAJ1, that is I rho L1 upon A. L1 is the length from A to J1 point. So L1 is the length from A to J1 point. So here we have taken I rho L1 upon A. Now we switch this circuit to this side, and now we connect to this point, and this point has been removed. In at this time we have connected to E2 cell, and E1 cell is not connected because we have connected to this circuit, this dashed circuit. So at this time we get E2, and the value of potential drop is we have dashed, that is AJ2. So AJ2, the length across AJ2 is L2. That means potential drop is directly proportional to I rho L2 upon A. So now we are dividing to these two equations, E1 by E2, that is L1 by L2. In this way we can compare, we get the result. We can compare the EMF by using the potentiometer, and EMF is again directly proportional to the length. The balance point will not be obtained on the potentiometer wire if the fall of potential potential along the potentiometer wire is less than that of EMF of cell, which is going to be measured. The working of potentiometer is based on null deflection method, so the resistance of the wire become infinity, and the potentiometer can be regarded as a ideal voltmeter. So ideal voltmeter has a infinite resistance. So ideal, the here point to be noted is ideal voltmeter has infinite resistance. Now we come to the next point. So in this lecture we have discussed meter bridge, Wheatstone bridge, potentiometer, and how potentiometer can be used to measure the potential difference and to compare the EMF of cell. Hope you will understand. Thank you.